enough.
His thoughts invade your own, probing for purchase. Your parasite purrs in recognition.
My apologies. Welcome back, true soul. What news?
You'll find Z'rell in the audience chamber, true soul. She'll be wanting to hear from you.
Let's hope this Z'rell likes what we have to say.
Praise the Absolute.
There can be no doubt. This is the place. This is where we'll discover the secret of the Absolute.
Another true soul. The disciple will want to see you. Through the main doors.
Even those we once called monsters.
I will not be slandered! General, you saw my reports. You know it's not my fault.
The facts suggest otherwise. You were ordered to retrieve the artifact. You failed to do so.
If I had been given drow warriors instead of goblin trash!
Oi! What?
You scrag!
Enough!
A blast of mental energy washes over you, filling the room. Your tadpole squirms, urging you to obey.
Let me make sure I understand this. You're claiming that General Thorm gave you the wrong soldiers.
Yes. No!
You blame the Absolute's Chosen for your failure.
Of course it is not the General's fault.
Whose then?
Your mind extends outward and grasps at nothing. In Kethric's place, you feel an absence. No psionic power. No tadpole at all.
The goblins! They failed me. They failed us all.
You lying little...
And what would you do to those that have failed you?
They are put to death, obviously.
True. Ultimate failure must earn ultimate punishment. Night Warden Minthara, your crime is incompetence, and your sentence is death.
No!
Make her passing slow, Disciple Z'rell. Be creative.
As the General's attention shifts to you, a memory stirs. A memory of this room, and his voice raised in anger.
I'm surprised to see you again, true soul. You are here to assist and not to meddle, I trust. I would remind you that while in my halls, you obey me, just as you would any other chosen. What say you about our Minthara? It is fitting that one mad dog should judge another. Better than you know yourself, it seems. But we are here to speak of Minthara, not you. She will die, eventually. Take her below.
No! Please! Mercy! Please!
Bye-bye, princess.
Kill the goblins, too.
What? No! You creaking old bag of shit!
I'm so sorry, my lord. She's an unbeliever outside my control.
Try again. Dispose of the rest as you see fit. Or better yet, let us take advantage of our surprising guest and their particular creative genius. I'm sure the results will send a clear message to the troops on the importance of discipline.
Of course, my lord. Thank you. You heard the General. The goblins are yours. Deal with them however you wish. They are yours. You can release them, kill them, or feed them to each other for all I care. Just deal with them. Here in the seat of the Absolute's power, your authority over them is complete. They will obey any command. Report to me upstairs when you're done.
Please! You gotta help me! For old time's sake!
Done. Nice and neat. Now, let's report to the lovely Zrel.
In another lifetime, you were greeted in this throne room like a god, not the living wreck you are now. Your disgrace has something to do with this Ketheric. You yearn to flay him until he forgets himself, as you have. With difficulty, you banish the pooling evil that bewitches your quivering limbs. Perhaps parts of you were scattered in this spire. Time to knit yourself together.
The seat of the Absolute's power, occupied by a general that cannot be killed. But his followers are flesh and blood. We must learn more about his power.
From this seat, Ketheric defied gods and raised an army for the Absolute. It is not particularly comfortable.
Good back support, but a little too tyrannical for my tastes.
General Thorm's prayers and preparations must not be disturbed. The rooftop is off-limits to everyone.
Even you, Disciple Zrel?
Everyone. Keep watch and ensure that nobody passes. Excellent timing, true soul. The goblins. Tell me how they suffered. No, better yet, show me.
Her mind enters yours abruptly, flickering across your memories in a blaze of excitement. A pool of warmth spreads through your mind as she settles on the memory of you commanding the goblins to die.
Oh, I like you. That was inventive and efficient. Your confidence is delicious. I can see why the Absolute might be hungry to dig deeper into that mind of yours. I certainly am.
She parts the folds of your mind again, touching your wants and hopes, tasting them. Every emotion soaks into her mind's palate. But there is purpose to her exploration. She is searching for proof of your faith.
You have used the wizard well. But the desperate one who would love such a pathetic man must hunger for greater delights deep down. With the Absolute, your fantasies can become more real than flesh. The pleasures of the mind can surpass those of the body. I have already been blessed to stand in her presence. It was bliss. She gave me everything I wanted. To take without asking, to feel without doubting, and to kill without consequence. In a word, freedom. I choose to serve, and I'm glad to. Your words are dangerously close to heresy, true soul. As you should be. And you have an opportunity to impress General Thorm. I have a mission for you. There is a relic that General Thorm requires. He sent his most trusted advisor, Disciple Balthazar, to retrieve it. The relic is beneath the Thorm family mausoleum. That is where you will find Balthazar. but we have lost contact with him. Go there, aid Balthazar if you can, and bring the relic home. Death would not silence Balthazar for long. But dead or alive, he is lost. Whatever has become of him, it is the relic that matters. It is something that General Thorm desires, and that he has ordered us to retrieve. That is all you need to know.
She's suddenly nervous, on edge. Talking about the relic makes her anxious.
I am in awe of the power the relic must hold to be of such importance. General Thorm will not leave Moonrise without it. Fine. Talk to the Bugbear Quartermaster. Tell him he's to share my secret stash with you. Yes, and he failed to find it. Little wonder he hasn't returned here. You've seen how the General deals with incompetence. They bleed. No doubt he's chasing after Balthazar in the dark. I hope he finds him. They're likely to tear one another to pieces. If they do, Balthazar will pull himself back together again. Nier won't. His usefulness has expired. But your utility to our cause has only just begun. And I accompanied him. It was destroyed shortly after he left Moonrise. Hardly a surprise. We're protected here, but outside the shadows are hungry. The shadows around the mausoleum are deep and hungry. You'll need a moon lantern to survive them. Take one from Balthazar's chambers. But don't pry. The last person who snooped into his secrets lost their head. I believe he uses it as a chamber pot.
The eye focuses on you, taking in every detail of your appearance. It simply watches you.
Love cannot hear you. She has forsaken you.
There are no gods left to you, Minthara. You are alone.
You were adored, Minthara. Brought up from the darkness and into the Absolute's light.
She cherished you, but it wasn't enough. You were distracted by your own desires.
Bloodlust. Murder. Chaos.
And most damning of all, an inability to follow orders.
I obeyed to the best of my ability!
And isn't that depressing?
You are nothing.
Minthara's mind connects with yours. Not strong as you remember, but fractured, disintegrating.
Come to observe, true soul. She is a lesson. None can rise so high that they cannot fall again. We are erasing her. Yes, your authority is great. We can learn, watching you break what little remains of her mind.
Immediately, your mind is swept into a greater vortex. A psionic storm with Minthara at its center.
Cannot hide. Submit. Embrace.
Her torturers are not dominating her. They are destroying her mental defenses and exposing her to something else. The Absolute. Navigating the storm, you reach the nexus of her mind. It is a wound, bleeding raw emotion and shattered memories. But she senses your arrival.
So it is you who will end me. Make it swift, then. Anything to silence that thing. That voice. I would prefer to make these bastards bleed. But I trust that you speak from caution rather than cowardice. I will put my faith in you and pretend to be their slave.
Her mind fills with warmth, and she gently releases you.
Is it done? I did not feel her mind break.
She does look a little vacant, sister.
No more anger. No more doubt. She is perfect. We ought to return to our posts, sister. There'll be plenty more prisoners to practice on.
An ill thing to let an enemy show their back and live. And look at you, right here with me. I suggest we leave, silently. What is it? What's wrong?
Minthara is supposed to be in a cell. You have some explaining to do. The guard is happy to let you pass. Minthara is rather less happy about your choice of words.
Death was merely delayed. We will return and kill them all. If it is for the best.
We are each of us threads in her design. Even those we once called.
Fresh orders?
Halt!
Deal with them, or I will.
We heard she'd been escorted from her cell. Not that she could leave the tower.
The General ordered that she be repurposed, not freed. Excellent. Hers was a difficult mind to erase, no doubt. She was fierce and erratic.
I live to serve.
As loyal as a golem. Use her well.
I last left Moonrise as a commander in the Absolute's army, obeying the voice of a god. I thought I had found a home and a purpose. Now I leave as an exile. But you risked your life to rescue me. For that, I am grateful.
The artifact connects with her, pulling your minds together and showing her all that you have seen. The prism, your dream visitor, the protection that keeps you from obeying the Absolute and becoming a Lithid. She knows it all in a moment. Her mind reels, but is no longer clouded. She accepts the truth. She has no choice.
There is much we must discuss. Do you have a safe place to camp nearby? Goodbye for now. I will see you soon.
The dog is unable to speak through the small bag he holds in his mouth.
I don't know. Maybe you can tell me. All I know is I thought of you when I saw it.
Greetings.
It does not compare with the comforts of home, but your camp is almost palatial in comparison to my previous accommodation. Thank you for allowing me to come here, and for bringing me back to myself. Each memory that returns to me is more disturbing than the last. The things that I did in the name of the Absolute. The things that were done to me. They broke my mind. Precisely. While our tadpoles live, and the cult have the means to control them, we will never be safe. We must eradicate them, starting with General Thorm. I mean Ketheric. My deference to him is a habit that will die hard, I fear. Not only this battle, but all that come after. Swear that you will keep me close. Until the Absolute is dead, at least. If I leave your side, the prism will no longer protect me, and I will cease to be Minthara. The Absolute will make me its puppet again. I would rather die. Thank you. I knew you were different to other true souls when we met, but I could see nothing clearly. Now, thanks to the prism, the Absolute does not cloud my thoughts at all. I see that together, we can have our vengeance on those who infected us. Rest well, and keep your wits about you. Tomorrow, we go to war with the cult of the Absolute. I intend to cause plenty, but only for our enemies. I do not sleep unless I wish to. Until I feel safe among this company, I shall spend my nights planning for the fights to come. A paragon of wisdom.
Hey, soldier.
In my years as the Blade, I've witnessed countless cruelties, faced unimaginable evil. But Thorm, he is made of pure hate. The Sword Coast will rejoice when the bastard's fallen. My father is somewhere in this tower. I won't leave him in Thorm's hands. And lest we forget, we've a devil to rescue. 2 missions, 1 destination.
Not in a mere prison cell, certainly. My guess, Thorm will have confined him in the bowels of the tower. The deeper we dig, the closer we get.
I want to be clear. Letting Minthara tag along with us was your idea, so if you wake up with a dagger to your throat, that's on you. Excuse me. I'm sorry for looking out for our collective hides. But fine. Take her if you wish. Just know I'll be resting with one eye open. Cazador, sired 7 spawn. Me and my 6 brothers and sisters. I was one of his first. Some of the others came years later. He was a monster to us all, but did take special pleasure in my pain. He said my screams sounded sweetest. Now that I'm gone, I don't know. I pity the other 6.
Minthara's something of a closed book, but I suspect a heart of gold lurks beneath that stern countenance. Once she gets to know me, I'm sure she'll open up. She's just waiting for someone ready to listen. She expects those who seek to use the weave to do so honestly, and with respect for its potential to destroy, as well as its potential to save. I doubt she's asked many of her followers to blow themselves up. That's a fate she's bequeathed exclusively to me. She wouldn't ask such a thing if it weren't our only means of survival. However much she's annoyed at me. I've no doubt she has the power to do so, but as for the permission, Ao would not look kindly on her meddling in mortal affairs. Divine intervention has a tendency to make things worse, not better. As for Elminster, he's saved the realms more times than legend can recount. But to take on a god is no easy feat, even for him. My orb is the best chance we have. And only I can wield it. Oh, you know me, ever the optimist. I'm trying to focus on the positives. Truth is, I was living on borrowed time already. Consuming those items would only have kept the orb sated for so long. If anything, I feel more at peace than I have in months. At least now I know my death will have purpose. It won't be a distant bang in the footnotes of history.
It doesn't seem long ago that Minthara would have sought to kill us, and now we've welcomed her along. We're nothing if not magnanimous. He's trouble. Worse, he's a traitor. Whatever loyalty he had towards Lady Shah is long gone. It would please her greatly to see him meet his long overdue end, I'll wager.
The drow is unpredictable, uncompromising. I respect her almost as much as I distrust her.
You wish to consult me? I was the Absolute's dagger. I remember every throat that it held me to, and every drop of blood it forced me to spill. I take no responsibility for the lives I took. I did nothing in the Absolute's name. I was merely a weapon that it wielded. You have my sympathy. The tadpole. The Absolute. They work together like a drug. I did not feel I was compelled to act against my will. I felt ecstatic to serve. Every action seemed a deliberate choice. The best choice. Even though I could no more have resisted its commands than flesh can resist decay. Even rational minds like ours cannot reject such a powerful influence. The Absolute can make the impossible seem inevitable. I fought at his side once, shortly after my conversion. Before the battle, he was everything a general should be. A charismatic leader with a brilliant strategic mind. And when the fighting began, he led his troops from the front and cut through the enemy like a scythe through stalks. Blows and arrows rained down on him, and before long, his face was a mask of blood. But he did not fall. He did not even falter. When we won the day, Ketheric's armor was bent and shattered, but his flesh was unmarked. I have lived long enough to know that few things are impossible in this world. Ketheric's power is a rare thing, though. I have never seen its like. The necromancer Balthazar is Ketheric's chief advisor. One who has mastery over the dead may well be able to help the living cheated. He is usually in his laboratory, elbow deep in offal, or clinging to his master's side. If he left Moonrise, his mission must be urgent. We should ransack his chambers and see what secrets he keeps for the great general. I took up my oath long ago, when I swore bloody vengeance against any who defied Lolth. Now, I myself have sinned against the Spider Queen. Though my faith is shattered, my oath endures. I am sworn to destroy all those who serve the Absolute. When I have had my vengeance on the cult, I do not know if my oath will still hold. I do know that when I take the Absolute's power, I will not lose control of it as our enemies have. I will harness it to create a more perfect world. Any who object to the laws of that world will have no place in it, of course, and I will gladly eradicate them. A disparate collection of vagabonds and strays. Did you have anyone particular in mind? She is tolerable, but her faith in the Lady of Loss is poisonous. The Night Singer has some admirable qualities. Far more than her insipid sister. But her followers are repressed. Take the child Shadowheart. She does not even know who she is, but still manages to pity herself. The very concept of Sharan worship is self-indulgent. They would have you think every whispered word and hidden thought is of value, but it is not so. I have performed 1,000 interrogations, squeezing out the most guarded secrets held in heart, mind, and soul. I can tell you this. When the trivial parts have been whittled away and I have sifted through what remains, in most cases, a person amounts to nothing at all. He's been deprived of freedom and strong blood for so long that he is addicted to both. While those addictions have their hold on him, he is still a slave. Free. What purpose does he have that does not involve his master? He fears him, he hates him, he dreams of him, and he will either kill him or die trying. Astarion is no more free of Cazador than you or I are free of our tadpoles. He will only be free when Cazador is dead. And that is as it should be. When the time comes, we must hope that he does not only take Cazador's long life, but the power that has sustained him as well. I have encountered few Githyanki in my life. Those that I did were raiders. They croaked out pleas for mercy in their alien tongue as they died. Meeting Lae'zel makes me wish I knew more of their culture. I did. She told me that she has nothing to teach that cannot be learned through observation of her prowess in combat. Perhaps she is right. She certainly cuts a striking figure in battle. There is a precision to her ferocity that I admire. To one who only sees the surface of things, perhaps. You should look deeper. There is a fanaticism in the Loth Swarm that lends itself to chaos. They turn their blades on one another as readily as on outsiders. The Gith have stricter hierarchies and stronger commitment to a single cause. Some, like Lae'zel, question that cause. But even so, she retains the discipline of her training. The wizard? No. Their mastery of the weave is commendable, but they are poor conversationalists. In my experience, they do not usually live long enough to make the effort of befriending them worthwhile. Either the enemy recognizes they are a threat and kills them swiftly, or their curiosity leads them to combust while experimenting with the limits of magic. Our wizard is already in a state of suspended combustion, thanks to that orb between his ribs. I suspect it is only a matter of time before he goes up in smoke. I will reserve my social graces for those who might live long enough to appreciate them. He is exceedingly self-righteous. Amusing, considering he bound himself to a devil. I will take your word for it. I only care that he is a good soldier, and he has not disappointed me on that front. I would rather be allied with a warlock than the spoiled son of a noble who has more experience with diplomats than devils. I have never known anyone so ferocious and unassailable in battle, and yet so fragile and impermanent in their very being. I often think of mortality as a curse. In time, all that I am and all that I have known and learned will be lost. In time, our cities will be dust. Karlach does not seem to have such anxieties. Perhaps because she cannot afford to. She exists in the moment, and she will burn out and be gone in a moment. There is something very beautiful about that.
Ah, my good fellow. Quite the cozy setup you have here. I'll just make myself comfortable. Thank you so much.
Thou hast now a bosom companion. Take care that thou art not distracted on thy quest, seeking the comforts of the flesh. Recall that in time, all becomes dust and bone.
Like a fool of late, wizard. Explain yourself.